All right, Friday's big question. If you had to pick just one of the games to watch in the MLS Cup playoffs this weekend, would it be Miami traveling to Mercedes-Benz Stadium in front of a hypothetical crowd or a proposed or expected crowd of 70,000 fans? Or would it be the number 2 team in Major League Soccer on the road in New York with their backs to the walls as Columbus face elimination? If you had to pick just one, what would it be, Jason?
All right, so you're kind of testing me here, like the soccer purist in me. Am I going to lean into this idea that I'm going to see if Wilfred Nancy can figure out how to overcome this game plan that Sandro Schwartz dropped on him at lower.com field and beat out the energy that the Red Bulls used to find a way to win that game on the road, to surprise the number 2 overall seed in Major League Soccer. If I'm gonna watch for that tactical battle, the chess match that's gonna happen between Wilfred Nancy and Sandro Schwartz. I mean, which players is Cucho Hernandez gonna rise to the occasion? No, I'm watching Lionel Messi play in Atlanta in front of 70,000. What are you talking about, Robert? This is the question that you bring to me on a Friday, which I'm watching Lionel Messi in Atlanta. Come on.
So that's an absolute no doubter. Then, eh? I mean, I didn't think I was pushing you to the test of your soccer
look,
purity, but at the same time, you're going for the wow factor, is what you're telling me.
It comes down to what feels bigger for me. It comes down to what feels bigger, and as much as I respect Wilfred Nancy and Columbus and what they've done and who they are and the fact that they're defending champions, as much as I'm even intrigued by the idea of the Red Bulls of all teams, a club that has never won an MLS Cup despite being an original MLS franchise. As much as I'm intrigued by the story, them possibly upsetting one of the favorites and making a push and maybe getting that opportunity to do the same thing against Miami in a conference title game. It's one-off, right? So it'll be a title game. I still cannot deny that I am attracted to the big event, to the biggest stage, to the brightest lights, to the biggest crowd, to the biggest stars. There is one guy who could possibly be considered the biggest star in this round of the MLS Cup playoffs. It's Lionel Messi. There's only one game that's going to give me 70,000 people. Again, some of them presumably rooting for him, but many, many, many of them rooting against him. And that's what I want my American soccer. I want American soccer to feel like that. I want it to feel like every Michigan game. I want it to feel like every Super Bowl. I want it to feel huge and important, and that game's going to feel huge and important.
What a conflict of emotions. Rooting against, if you were an Atlanta fan, rooting wholeheartedly against Messi would be unless you're a Madrid fan, and you've probably rooted against Messi multiple times. But the soccer purist, I mean, there's a bit of a soft spot for Messi across the board. But having your postseason life on the line, rooting against him, would be a difficult position to be in. At least for
you mean
myself
just as a soccer fan who who appreciates Messi as the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
right?
Even if you weren't a Barcelona fan or an Argentina fan, there's a place if you like the sport, there is a spot for Messi there.
Yeah.
And to I guess when I guess the heat of the moment might come in and just you bleed your Atlanta colors, but you might feel it in the moment. But it'd be interesting to see how many people are actively rooting against them.
I'd be curious, right? And I have no science background, but I'd be curious if we could get somebody on a couch somewhere, maybe do some interviews and talk to people who don't identify as Real Madrid fans or don't identify as Brazil fans, I guess, because that would also engender a little bit of dislike for Lionel Messi. Sure, France, I guess, right, because of Argentina and But I would love to talk to people who don't identify as fans of a team that has consistently had to go up against Messi, and therefore that would naturally bring out some ill feelings towards him, and find out the ones who hate him. Why? Because those people definitely exist, right? Like, we can't imagine there are people who are like, not I hate Messi for no other reason than something about him pisses them off, right? And I would love to unpack that. Like, what is it about him that bothers you? And again, maybe it's the Ronaldo thing. Maybe some people have just made their binary choice and it was Ronaldo 18 years ago and now it's still Ronaldo.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the Ronaldo like anti-Messiism. Is there many people online that are posting anti-Messi stuff that aren't bots that are created for?
That's a good question. I
Because it
don't
feels like
know.
a lot of bot hate
I don't
goes
know.
Messi's way, but I have seen an undercurrent on social media of people saying that the referees are protecting Messi more than other players, and they're getting a lot of special
That
treatment and calls.
that could be look, I mean, I do think there are plenty of MLS fans who already have found themselves not liking him because they do feel like things are tilted in his direction. I mean, that you could argue that, right? And again, maybe I'm throwing out the caveats about Real Madrid fans, but I guess if you are a fan of any La Liga team during his period in Spain, you could say, well, look, Messi got all the calls, Barcelona got all the calls. It's always about Barcelona, Real Madrid anyway. I already have this natural dislike and all of those things. I mean, you if you are the ultimate cynic about his story, I'm sure you could find reasons to pick it apart and think, oh, yeah, it's too pat. This whole thing, this little kid from Argentina needs some hormones because he's so small. And, oh, you go to Barcelona. And then, all of that stuff. You could find a reason. I mean, he's been in trouble, or his dad has been in trouble for some of the business dealings and the way they've handled that. I do think Spain kind of entraps big personality, big celebrities when it comes to that stuff a little bit with their tax laws. But there is that too. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Just because he went to Publix and bought some cereal doesn't make him the nicest guy on the planet, I guess.
No, and I've put it in our suggestions for memory hole is that time when he went to Gabon and met the ruthless dictator down there wearing cargo shorts, and
Okay.
he
This is
undid some
interesting.
human rights stuff.
This is interesting. All right. Because, this is KY again. People treat him like he's a make-a-wish kid. Okay. There is a naivete about Messi that can be off-putting because you're pointing out that he ended up in a place where this was a bad look. Like Lionel Messi, why are you there with that person? And you get the sense that maybe he's just not sort of actively engaging with the world that allows him to
Mhm.
appreciate that maybe that's a bad idea, right? Is that the reason to hate him, or is that the reason to not like him as much as other people do? I mean, does his play on the field outweigh any of those sort of bumbling social things and sort of image things that he has found himself in? I don't know. I don't know. If you're Dutch, you might not like him. He's calling your players Bobo, Que miro, like that whole thing after the World Cup match. I mean, I don't know.
That whole interaction in the World Cup between the Dutch and the Argentine team, that I had no emotional stake or rooting stake, but that whole thing got me pumped up. I was like sitting on the couch, like all fired up, seeing was it who blasted the ball into the Dutch bench and then just started that melee? That was
Yeah,
pretty wild.
there's that. I definitely think that he's competitive in a way that if you are not on his side, can feel like a little bit over the top. I mean, he's not getting tarred and feathered with it, and I do think that if let's bring it back to current events, I do think Vinny Jr. got docked some points by some people in the Ballon d'Or race because of his attitude, right? And people just decide, oh, that's a bad attitude. Like, I don't like that attitude. What about it is different than some other players? Well, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Well, considering the way that Vinny Jr. is treated in Spain, I bet you some of those people, the reasons why are, they're right there, maybe skin deep. Let's just say it that way. So,
That's well put. Well put.
yeah, I mean, how much does Messi get a pass on some of those things because of, a lack of racist behavior around him, right? If he was a black player in Spain, would he have gotten a different kind of treatment? I mean, I don't know. And did he get away with some things because he wasn't a black player in Europe? I don't know. Interesting things.
So, the big question of the day: are you watching Miami in front of a sold-out Mercedes-Benz or Columbus in New York? Pretty wholeheartedly,
Come on.
you're
Come
watching
on.
Miami in Atlanta
You're
on
not
Saturday
on
night.
board for the flames and for the train sounds and all the stuff they do in Atlanta, Robert? Are you against all? I mean, it's the American style event stuff, but hammering the spike. We're gonna get. So who's gonna hammer the spike for this game
Well, I thought
between
one kind
Atlanta
of
and Miami?
wake and take sort of idea I had. So if MLS goes to the calendar change and they have
Yeah.
that big significant winter break, I thought that like a Leagues Cup or a mini tournament held at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the wintertime might be kind of a fun idea.
Okay. Yeah, sure. We could do something like that. I mean,
Also, other random idea. You know how those videos Messi has his own personal bodyguard that lurks the sidelines
yeah,
waiting
that
to
guy.
to tackle anyone
Yeah.
that's gonna. I wonder if that guy. I mean, he seems like a consummate professional, but what if someone just like absolutely like a player, absolutely just the dirtiest tackle, sliding tackle from behind, just do you think that guy is there a world where he runs on and tackles an
That's
opposing
true.
player for just a righteously dirty tackle?
I mean, I would hope not. That would be outside the purview of his job. So,
I
yeah,
mean, who else is
no.
allowed such provisions like that, though? Really? I mean,
No, I
who gets
mean,
their own bodyguard
that's
on the
that's
field?
that's true. That's true. Yeah. What level of how do you determine what level of fame dictates that you need a personal bodyguard who gets to stalk the sideline and race onto the field anytime somebody with a camera wants to take a selfie? I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah,
the line
be
is on
careful, Dax McCarty. Don't go in too hard. Careful, Dax.
that. I mean, it might be easy to mistake Dax McCarty for a fan who wants to take a selfie. I love Dax, but he's not. He doesn't jump off the screen as like an obvious world famous footballer, so or a talented professional footballer. But there you go.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in today. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Hit us up on social media, MKickaround on X and Instagram.